Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever geography you are in. This is Pranav Thakurta from EduTV. In our the EduTV podcast, Fuel the Next Generation. Today, our guest today is Ms. Nikita Tomarman, Principal, Indraprasth Global School, Noida. Ma'am has taught in best of the schools in India and she has taken the school very nicely. And our host is Professor Shalini Prakash from IFIM Bangalore. Ms. Prakash will take the conversation further with Madam Nikita Tomar. Over to you, Shalini.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome once again to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We often hear so much about marks, percentages, and cutoffs. But what truly helps students thrive in university beyond are the skills that go deeper than report cards. So let me begin with the big question. When we talk about preparing students for life beyond academics, what do you feel are the top three skills every young person must develop before entering the university?
All right. So I think that's an interesting question because it's often something that we discuss that you don't find children who are academically the best at schools sometimes doing very well in life. And you do not know why because they've achieved all the parameters by society's standards, which are meant to be taking them to, success in future. So one I feel definitely is communication skills, because that's very, very important in the entire educational landscape. Sometimes children are so marks oriented that they learn things well, they remember and recapitulate things well, and they're able to put it down on paper. But when it comes to explaining, and when it comes to showing that they've understood a concept, that doesn't happen because they are not empowered with the language skills. So certainly communication skills is one area which I feel goes a long way in achieving success in life. Second is application of whatever you've learned at school, because you may be knowing the concept, but when it comes to hands-on experience or where you need to apply it in day-to-day life, or how to use what you've learned at school in your life, when you're thrown in real life situations, is the missing link in between. Very few children, and sometimes you'll find children who are not academically very brilliant but who managed their academics fairly well, doing exceedingly well in universities and life beyond that, because they've acquired a lot of other skills. Your socio-emotional skills, your ability to have interpersonal relationships, your ability to be able to work in a team, to collaborate. There's so many other skills that become more important, and all of these are 21st century skills. So a lot of schools talk about it, but many schools do not really work around it, because it's, at the end of the day, it's about your report card and whether you got 95% and above, or maybe 100% these days. One really doesn't know, because even 100 seems less. If there was anything beyond 100, maybe that works, but that is only an entry point into anything where a mark is a cutoff to get into a place. So we've seen so many people who are IITians. We only talk about the cream getting selected at the campus, but we do not necessarily know anything about the ones who are not doing very well and getting a good CGPA in IIT. What happens to them? Why they did not succeed despite having made it to the most prestigious college is a question mark that answers the question that you're asking me.
Those are such valuable points, and I'm sure our students listening in will already be reflecting on themselves. So, moving on, ma'am, in today's world, employers and universities emphasize qualities like adaptability, problem solving, and of course, as you rightly mentioned, communication. So, from your perspective, how can schools and colleges help students build these skills early on?
Okay. So, creativity and critical thinking should be a part and parcel of a school life. When you do things like we have, for instance, in our school, right, for the pre-primary years upwards, we have a maker space, a lab, a Lego lab, where they do problem solving. So it's a STEAM lab basically, and children come in groups, and some are given a Lego kit where they work together with 2 3 children to solve or find which blocks fit where, and what creations they can make out of the same pieces of blocks that are given to them, and to create certain scenarios that are given to them to work in groups. There's a robotics lab where you give them real life problems and ask them to use robotics and AI to solve those problems or offer possible solution. They may not be the most perfect solutions. These are school kids, but the idea is to get them thinking. The idea is to critically apply your skills and think of possible solutions. We do coding at school level, gamification. There's so many apps that children can prepare, and they are preparing in a lot many schools which are focused on problem solving skills. So these are the kind of things and scenarios that you need to give children, where they are able to apply their skills and also understand that whatever you've learned in your life is meant to be applied to solve problems that you may encounter in life later. So these skills become important. Critical thinking is an extremely important skill, because you look at some bit of information, you should be able to analyze it. You should be able to use data to understand what the statistics is saying to you. Because if none of them make sense to you, are not able to interpret even data, you have then any research work that is going around you is going to be a waste. And schools need to even give projects of this nature to children. So we teach financial literacy as a skill to children right from grades 3 upwards. We have a curriculum for each class. It's a skill that is a it's a mandate for all children. When we move out of school into college and our real life, nobody was there to guide us how to manage our finances. You struggle to do it, then somebody will come along and tell you one tip or another tip. You should be able to know what are the things that you can do. That is one of the skills. Socio emotional learning is another skill that we teach the children right from the beginning, because conflict resolution is going to happen all around you. You should be able to sit down at the table and discuss with your peer where you had a difference of opinion, or sometimes even it gets more aggressive than even a difference of opinion. That, okay, where did I go wrong? Where did you go wrong? Let's come to a middle path and see what I could have done better, what you could have done better, so that we do not reach this situation all over again. So there's so many skills which work towards problem solving. Even conflict resolution is a problem solving skill at the end of it, you see. So projects which are real life challenges should be given to children. Project based learning should become a part and parcel of school life. And skill education has to start right from the primary years. You identify what skills are necessary at which level, and train those children accordingly within the framework of whatever board you're following. There's a lot of customization that can be done, especially till the middle school, which is not so structured, where you're bound by so many rules and regulations that you cannot introduce problem solving skills. So this is what I feel are the primary areas that the schools must focus on. Communication being at the top of it, because whichever field you are in, unless you are able to convey and communicate your ideas and thoughts, you're always going to be fumbling to explain to the other person what you mean, you know.
Absolutely. It's so true, ma'am, that these skills can be nurtured right from the classroom. So, in fact, this reminds me, in fact, I can say it's a curiosity question. I hope, or, I had an opportunity that I had got a chance to meet you a few decades before, because this is my personal question too.
Okay.
Grades often dominate student and parent concern. How can we shift the focus from marks to real life skills without compromising academic excellence?
That's a great question, because this is a tussle that goes on always with parents between the schools. You may be a progressive school. You, as an educator, understand the importance of certain skills that are more important than just the academics alone. But it is very difficult for parents to come on board, because we were born in different times. And for us, also, marks were the most important thing, and you want to continue on the same path with your children. But I think a lot of orientation programs, a lot of success stories of children who were not brilliant in terms of getting a 98 or a 99% in school, of having made it to the top roles in the organization that they work at, and also reiterating to parents that, children, these are the skills that a child requires for success in later life, and these are the skills that the child can learn alongside academics only at school, because there's no time after that to learn these skills. Because once you're out of school, you're supposed to be competing with children who are coming from different schools and different institutions, who some of whom would have already learned those skills. So you're kind of 5 steps behind, your own competitors or your own peers. Definitely is going to impact your self confidence and your success in life. So constant talking to parents, talking about real life examples which are before us, to see that a parent understands it. And also, not only, why only problem solving skills, I even feel that physical fitness should be a part and parcel of an individual's life. We as Indians do not focus a lot on physical fitness at all. We only think of physical fitness when we are suffering from some ailments, when a doctor mandates it that walk for half an hour, or do some sort of physical exercise, or keep your weight in check. These are the things that come to us very late in life, and it becomes difficult because that time it's more like a punishment for us. So even sports needs to go hand in hand with whole lot of skills that we've just discussed. So participation in co-curricular activities, because you get to know where you stand vis-a-vis so many other people who are doing the same thing. It's not about feeling miserable about yourself, but it is also about knowing where you stand and what are the areas you need to work on. Because school is work in progress, as far as your personality is concerned, as far as your academics is concerned, as far as your co-curricular activities are concerned, and as far as your physical activities are concerned. So somewhere school is the most beautiful part of a child's life, because you can learn and experiment with so many things, and there's scope for growth, because it's the only place perhaps where nobody's judging you. Teachers are not judging you. Society has not begun to judge you, except when they draw comparisons, when they have some social gatherings. But moment you're out of school, then society steps in and starts judging you for what you've learned and what you've not learned and what you should have learned. So school is one place where definitely parents need to be to come to terms that along with academics, these are the skills that are required. And thankfully, we've not faced that problem. In fact, a lot of our parents were very happy with the fact that we teach financial literacy as early as grade 3, because they need to understand the difference between needs and wants. They need to understand that there has to be some saving out of whatever you're getting. You get gifts from all around you, from your grandparents and things like that. So we have grade 3, 4 children also telling their parents, don't touch my money, put it in SIP. You see, for a parent, it's a learning that where did you learn it from? So it's such a wonderful feeling when children are able to educate the adults around them.
Thank you for that. It's in fact reassuring to hear how both can go hand in hand. Because the point that you quoted, ma'am, about the physical fitness, I take this privilege to tell that I'm so proud for being part of IFM institution, because here we just not focus on life skill, but also lifestyle.
Thank you. I'm so glad that
Students,
institutions have started noticing it.
Faculties.
Yeah.
It is also for faculties.
Correct. Everyone, every single individual,
Yeah.
whatever age you are at, you need some form of physical activity in your life.
Right. Because the minute you say SIP, this is also another wing where, our institution believes in a holistic development of a student, and also being a socially responsible individuals.
Correct.
Okay. With that, ma'am, I would not buy much of your time. So one just, a question to you. Maybe I can say last but one, if Pranav sir agrees. Could you share an example of a student who stood out not just because of grades, but because of other skills like leadership, creativity, or maybe a team building, problem solving skills? If you could remember any of that in any of your batch.
Oh, I remember a whole lot of them. I mean, I remember that, in fact, most children that you remember as educators are children who've been perhaps one of the naughtiest ones in the class. and children who would bring life to your class, children who would add value to a discussion and deliberation when it's happening to the class, and not an expected response, a cliched response which comes from most children. These are the kids that you remember, who stand out in when you form groups. They are the ones who come up with an entirely diverse way of looking at things. These are the children who make a mark in life. So there's so many that I can probably remember in my own life as an educator. I mean, in my current school also, and in the past, the children like, I mean, I'm proud to say that Pariniti Chopra was a student of mine, the actress. She was at Convent of Jesus and Mary with me. And I remember that she was part of a play called The Sound of Music, which we had done as a musical. She was playing one of the children and the 7 children that the main protagonist has. And a child who would do a lot of different activities, and I knew it even right then that this kid is going to make it big one day. So she was academically, I won't say brilliant, good, but into so many other things, into singing, into plays, into co-curricular activities, working with a lot of people, because when you're a part of any presentation like this, you're not working alone. So you are a team player who works with a lot of people, because if you want all the importance and all the lines should come to you and the entire focus of the play should be on you, it'll not work. So she was one of the many, but even in that little tiniest of roles, you stand out. So there's so many children along the way that I can think of. Even currently in school, we have our teams which have gone overseas for some international competition like the World Scholars Cup. So I can say that out of all the children who have gone, there are so many of them who are not the 90 percenters, but they are kids who are very good with their communication skills, because debating requires thinking on the feet, debating requires rebuttals, debating requires a thinking mind, and a thinking mind may not necessarily be somebody who's very compliant with in terms of remembering let's say concepts and putting them down on paper. They may not necessarily be good at that, because that is a child who can recollect sentences and write verbatim or write points and not miss out a single thing. That's a different mindset altogether. Some of these kids may manage to do both, but that's a rarity. But these are children, you give them a question, they'll be able to write it in their own words and express it. Maybe the system doesn't agree to that answer, and they may lose out on certain marks and may not really rank in terms of merit, but they are children who understood the concept. So there's so many in your school life who you remember for being these kind of kids, and usually you don't remember the toppers. Let me tell you, it's ironical. You don't remember the toppers. There may be a school topper, but unless that school topper has done anything beyond just topping the school and doing well and giving a perfectly turned out paper to a teacher for correction, there's nothing else that you remember about the child. You remember children who come into the class and the class comes alive. You see, you remember them. They may be irritating sometimes when you're teaching, but you look forward to them being in the class. You see, that spark comes from these kind of children, and that is a child who stands out in the entire class, because these are children whose brains are ticking constantly. They want to get out of the mundane. They don't want to do, they're out of the box thinkers. So everything that they do will be different from what the rest of the kids do.
That's truly inspiring, ma'am, and I'm sure it will encourage many of our students to explore their own unique strength. So, finally, ma'am, if you had one piece of advice for students who are about to step into university life, what would you tell them to truly thrive, not just survive during those years?
Okay. So I would just tell them that go out there and play by your strengths. Every one of you is unique. Every one of you has a lot of, there's a part of you which only belongs to you, and not very many people out there in the world will have that distinction and that quality in them. Identify yourself, because self-awareness is the first step towards success. So if you're aware of your strengths and you play by your strengths, and you work hard and you're diligent, because I think that is the bottom line of everything. You may be very brilliant, but if you're not willing to put in the hours and work hard in these years of your life, which are the make or break years for you, then you may not find yourself being very successful despite having everything going for you. So please play by your strengths, identify the skills which are unique to you, and passionately pursue those skills as well. Sometimes it may become the profession that you are in. Sometimes it may be just something that gives you solace when you are alone, just to de-stress yourself. But take them along with you. Don't leave them behind just because you're pursuing a career in your life. So that will be my advice to the children, that understand that you're unique, understand that everybody is capable, and that you're worthy of things. So that's the final take that I have on it.
Wonderful advice, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today. On behalf of all the students, parents, and teachers listening, I would take this opportunity and express our heartfelt gratitude to you for reminding us that while grades matters, it's the skills, values, and in fact confidence we carry that truly prepare us for life. Thank you once again, and thank you to everyone who is watching us. Wishing all our students the very best as they prepare for the exciting journey ahead. And
Thank you so much,
good luck
Professor
for
Shalini, for your insights, because you were wonderful too. I absolutely love the question that you posed, because it makes me as an educator also think before I answer. So I kind of draw on all my resources before I am able to answer. And thank you to Pranav sir as well for bringing us together. It's always nice to meet people who are in the same field, who deliberate on a lot of things that should be possibly done, and which a lot of institutions are still struggling to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Nikita Tomar,
Thank you,
Principal
sir.
Indraprastha Global School, Noida, always helping us, sharing her advice to students, parents, and to all the stakeholders of education. Professor Shalini, I would like to tell one more thing about Nikita ma'am's students. One is Pariniti Chopra, and she's taught in a school where the alumni is Mr. Salman Rushdie, also in Bombay. And I would also like to thank Professor Shalini Prakash, Associate Professor from IFIM College, Bangalore, and Vijay Bhumi University, Mumbai. And this is Pranav Gua Thakurta thanking all of you on our 2316th podcast on education. Thank you so much, both the young girls. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much. Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Good day.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
ma'am.
Bye.
Bye.